Chainsaw Man is shocking the world right now. It's time for the latest news out of Japan. If you expected a purely romantic or even normal chapter of Chainsaw Man during Valentine season, then you might want to bash your head on a brick wall after reading the new chapter, because things aren't looking good for our boy Denji, and especially for his chances of finding true love. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. Tatsuki Fujimoto's Chainsaw Man is known for its unpredictability and emotional impact, especially when it comes to Denji's tragic life. No matter how much he grows, the story always finds a way to push him into even deeper suffering. Chapter 193, Burning Kiss, is another example of this, as Denji experiences one of his lowest moments, reminiscent of his worst breakdowns in the series. After his date with Yoru in chapter 192, Denji finds himself on a rooftop watching the city burn, a sight that perfectly suits the War Devil's idea of romance. Yoru, as usual, acts with her usual overconfidence, making a bold move on Denji. While her actions have often sparked discussions about consent, Denji himself rarely refuses any advances from women. This dynamic fuels the conflict at the heart of this chapter, delivering a mix of twisted romance and emotional depth right before Valentine's Day. Denji stands out as a shonen protagonist because he isn't motivated by heroism or grand ideals. He's just a teenager, caught in world-ending conflicts, yet his personal struggles often feel more important to him than the larger battles around him. His flaws are painfully relatable, and chapter 193 brings them to the forefront. Unlike previous action-packed chapters, this one slows down, focusing solely on a conversation between Denji and Yoru. Despite the lack of movement, their expressions and interactions make every panel feel powerful, whether humorous, sad, or unsettling. Yoru's manipulation of Denji is particularly striking. She acknowledges his suffering, mocking his desperation, while simultaneously taking advantage of him. Her words, "I'm the only one who's nice to you," highlight how deeply she understands Denji's loneliness and vulnerability. The most chilling moment comes when she offers him sex in exchange for defeating the Death Devil. There's nothing romantic about the scene. Denji looks terrified, Yoru grins knowingly, and the background is engulfed in flames, creating a nightmarish image. The moment builds upon the ongoing themes of Chainsaw Man Part 2, particularly the way Yoru has used Asa's body to manipulate Denji. The infamous chapter 167 stirred controversy due to its crude nature, but chapter 193 takes things even further. Here, Yoru essentially treats Asa's body as a bargaining chip, with Asa having no say in the matter. It's a disturbing scene, masterfully captured by Fujimoto's artwork, and it may become one of the series' most unforgettable moments. The chapter also draws parallels between Yoru and Makima, the series' original major antagonists. Like Makima, Yoru uses Denji's desire for love and affection against him. However, unlike Makima, who was obsessed with Chainsaw Man but had no real care for Denji, Yoru's relationship with him is more complex. Asa's genuine feelings for Denji create an internal struggle within Yoru, making her an even more terrifying character. She leads Denji on, showing him physical affection while simultaneously using him for her own ends. Denji's emotional reaction to hearing that Asa likes him is heartbreaking. His deepest desire has always been to be cared for, yet every time he gets close to achieving that, it turns into another source of pain. Yoru's insistence on watching him cry adds another cruel layer to the moment. She takes pleasure in his suffering. While Makima used Denji's love for family and belonging to control him, Yoru actively becomes the person he loves while treating him like a tool. This creates a painful contradiction that Denji himself doesn't even try to resolve. Denji's history of suffering is at the core of Chainsaw Man. He lost his mother due to illness, killed his father in self-defense, and was murdered by the Yakuza before Pochita revived him. These tragedies make him an easy target for manipulation, and his worst enemies, from Makima to Yoru, have all exploited this weakness. What makes Yoru different, however, is that she might actually have feelings for him. While Makima admired Chainsaw Man as a concept, Yoru's connection to Asa means she has developed some level of attachment to Denji. This makes her actions even more disturbing, as she simultaneously cares for him and enjoys his suffering. The chapter also hints at the series' larger conflict, the looming battle against the Death Devil. Yoru's deal with Denji mirrors Makima's old offer to him: defeat the Gun Devil and I'll grant you one wish. Just as the Gun Devil turned out to be a misdirect, with Makima being the true villain, there's a possibility that the Death Devil won't be the final antagonist either. Yoru's increasing power and manipulative nature suggests she might become the true threat Denji has to overcome. If Denji and Yoru do manage to defeat the Death Devil, it could set the stage for an even darker battle. The implications of a world without death are terrifying. Endless war and suffering would follow, benefiting characters like Fami, the Famine Devil, who could starve people indefinitely without fear of them dying. Fujimoto has carefully built up this conflict, and chapter 193 marks a major turning point as everything begins to fall into place. In true Chainsaw Man fashion, this chapter delivers an anti-Valentine's Day message. Just as Denji finds love, he also finds pain. When he finally experiences affection, it comes with manipulation and fear. These conflicting emotions define the series, and chapter 193 encapsulates them perfectly. There's no forced action or cheap cliffhangers, just raw, unsettling character moments that highlight the tragedy of Denji's existence. With the series heading toward its endgame, it's clear that Denji's struggles won't ease up. If history repeats itself, the real battle won't just be against devils, but against Denji's own weaknesses. Chainsaw Man thrives on these tragic contradictions, and as the story moves forward, it's only going to get darker. Whatever happens next, one thing is certain: Denji's suffering is far from over. It shouldn't come as a surprise that Chainsaw Man chapter 193 has now become the hottest topic in the anime manga community right now, as fans all over the world have expressed their likes and dislikes about the current situation with Denji and Yoru. Believe it or not, a bunch of fans actually love the chapter, and some even believe it to be peak. Several fans have become accustomed to the freaky nature of the show and are even begging for more. As one fan said, "It just keeps getting better and freakier every week." Some fans appreciate the episode for more than its freakiness, as many have stated that the events of the chapter actually showcases Denji's true nature and develops him a bit as well. As a fan said, "This is who Denji really is. He's desperate for attention and affection deep down. He's a child that's not only been starved and neglected, but also used and abused. He'll cling onto anything he can get a hold of because that's how carnal his desire is to be accepted/loved." Some fans are just happy that our boy Denji is finally getting real and intense kisses, because I think we can all remember how disastrous his first kiss with Himeno was. On another note, a bunch of fans believe the situation with Yoru is not very similar to the one with Makima, and that things could end differently for Denji this time. In the words of a fan, "I get why some people will drop this manga, but I'm actually interested in this, because it is just like Makima used to manipulate Denji, but this is 100% explicit. Not hiding plans happening in the background, just pure evil abusive behavior." Well, one great thing that fan did was acknowledge the fact that some people might drop Chainsaw Man manga after this chapter, because many have started making memes about how Chainsaw Man Part 2 is trash that isn't worth reading. This stems from the anger fans feel about Denji's repeatedly frustrating romantic situation. This chapter made many fans all over the world to crash out, some saying they'll unalive themselves after reading the chapter, while some even saying they'll find a way to jump into the manga to save Denji themselves. Some fans feel that the situation with Denji and Yoru shows that Denji hasn't developed or progressed as a character one bit, and that history will repeat itself in a tragic way for him. A fan said, "This is just an act. She doesn't love Denji. In the end, he will get betrayed by her, just like what happened to him against Makima." Fans are so scared for Denji that several of them have already started begging Fujimoto to make Denji happy in the end. Some fans are actually optimistic about the future of Chainsaw Man despite all the romantic chaos, because Denji will most likely defeat the Death Devil in the coming chapters. Let's just hope this all ends well for Denji, because he's been through enough torment at this point. In other news, My Hero Academia surpassed One Piece?